Welcome to 1000 PS, welcome to EICMA 2025. What we're doing is taking an interested look at kind of entry-level A2 compliant adventure bikes. Because if you look at 23 and 24, there wasn't a huge amount of bikes in that category, but now there is, with some new exciting bikes coming into that segment, one of them being the Himalayan Rally. So let's go through the runners and riders for which is the best A2 entry-level adventure bike. So what's interesting at the show as we walk around is the amount of bikes that are in this kind of entry-level adventure bike. Call it what you want. So we've got the Kawasaki KLE500, which we've already seen. So that's brand new for 2026, parallel twin, using the 500 twin that we've seen in other Kawasaki models. They kind of teased this bike last year by putting a front wheel out of a box. I mean, nobody knew what it was, but we kind of guessed it might be an adventure bike. So it returns after, it must be nearly 20 years since we've seen a KLE500. It's the 451 twin that we see in the Z500. No official performance data as yet, but it's going to be probably around the same kind of power as them as an entry-level bike. I would guess 45, 46 horsepower. Torque figures are nothing official yet, but we're looking at probably 92, 93 Newton meters of torque. Suspension travel, big 210, big 200, lots of travel but no adjustment, 16-litre fuel tank, and again, no specification on weight at the moment, and I guess it'll just have conventional ABS. But it's starting to enter a bit of a crowded market because for some reason at EICMA this year, there's a lot of models in this A2 kind of friendly adventure bike, bikes from BMW and bikes from KTM. But it's good to see that the KLE has returned, and just on face value, it looks good. We've also got BMW's new F450GS, again another twin, it's the baby GS, lots of tech, usual high-end BMW build quality, which is going straight against the KLE500. We've jumped over to BMW to see the final version of their new F450GS. Now last year at EICMA we saw a prototype and we were on like tenterhooks because we so wanted them to produce this bike. We heard the engine roar, we heard it rev, and now finally the end product, the production bike is here. So let's go through some facts and figures. 420cc from a parallel twin. It's right on the cusp of what an A2 license can be with 48 horsepower and 43 Newton meters of torque. It's double overhead cam, 4 valves per cylinder, 6-speed transmission with an optional Shift Assistant Pro, final chain drive as we would expect, not bile, and the exhaust is stainless steel. The frame is tubular steel with the engine as part of the integration. We've got a 1465 wheelbase and quite a relaxed trail. The suspension comes from KYB, and as you'd expect for that off-road, you've got 180 mil of travel on the front and 180 mil of travel on the rear. We could have changed the spring preload and the rebound damping, and then there'll be a sports version where we can also change compression. Cast wheels, interestingly, BMW have gone for a 19-inch front rather than a 21-inch, and a 130/80/17 on the rear. A Brembo 4-pot caliper up front on a 310 disc, and the rear disc is a 240. Now what's really interesting is that BMW enter this really kind of competitive A2 market of adventure bikes, and it's really interesting that they brought the GS name down to 450. But judging by what BMW normally do, they should be leading the field in terms of tech and finish and dash and rider aids, because it's got the familiar dash that we've seen on other BMW models. We're going to get to ride the bike in early next year, that's the plan. And from the pictures and the images we've seen online, it looks very capable off-road. We're going to have lots of rider aids to help us. We're going to have ABS Pro, we're going to have dynamic brake control, MSR, which is your drag torque control, DTC, and in standard we'll have rain, road and enduro mode. Then obviously there'll be an Enduro Plus and other packages depending on how and where you want to ride. I think it looks fantastic in the flesh. I'm so happy that BMW have produced this kind of baby GS or entry-level GS, call it what you want. But the potential of having this engine in a lightweight chassis with such off-road capabilities, to me, equals a lot of fun. Can't wait to ride it, and I can't wait to put it against the competition. It's interesting that BMW have used the GS name, something I didn't think they were going to do, but it looks great in the flesh. Can't forget the Himalayan Rally, which is a 450, but now we're a single, and in this category we could also put in the KTM 390 Adventure. Sadly, KTM are not here at EICMA, but it's a bike we have to consider in this category. And then you've got other bikes like the CF Moto 450 MT, and you could say Honda's NX 500, which is another twin. So before we was kind of a little bit short on adventure bikes, especially for entry-level new riders, but now there's an absolute plethora of entry-level, lightweight, single-cylinder, twin-cylinder, under 47 horsepower, entry-level adventure bikes. I think it's great for a growing new market, and I can't wait to do the group test. We're going to be jumping on the KLE500 and the BMW in spring next year. Once we've done that, we'll hopefully get all the bikes together, see which one works best off-road and see which works best on-road. So I hope you enjoyed a little look at this new exciting kind of category of A2 compatible adventure bikes. It'd be interesting to see if there's any bikes in there that I may have missed, and it'd be interesting to see which one comes out on top. In terms of power, they're all restricted, as in they have to be under 47 horsepower to be A2 compliant. So it's not a game of who's got the most power. I guess it's going to be wheel size maybe, lightness maybe, off-road capabilities, and do you want a bike that will do lots of road miles, or do you want to do a bike that is capable of big jumps and hardcore, rugged off-road? I've ridden the Enfield off-road, I've ridden the 450 MT off-road, both really good bikes. And it also might come down to price, which might not favour the BMW. But proof is in the pudding, we'll find out next year. If you want to know any more technical details about these bikes, we've got specific videos on all of these models. Thanks for watching. It'd be interesting next year. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.